National Party is the trial bar. Number 2 are the Indian casinos. Number 3 is organized labor. That is where we have gotten to. And the truth is that 90% of the cash...
Hold on, we got an emergency. This is much worse than we thought. We knew they were trying to start a war with Russia. They've just expelled the Russian diplomats and closed Russian embassies here in the U.S. That was not even done during the Cuban Missile Crisis or during the Cold War. This is something you do when you go to DEFCON 2, Defense Condition 2, or maybe even 1, which means, I mean, this is total insanity, Reuters. Oh, my God, this is a coup against America to stop Trump. Oh, this is 10 times worse than I thought. The United States on Thursday expelled 35 Russian diplomats and closed 2 Russian compounds in New York and Maryland in response to a campaign of harassment by Russia against American diplomats in Moscow. A senior U.S. official said on Thursday, wow. The U.S. official speaking on condition of anonymity, we've seen U.S. diplomats try to run into their embassies and infiltrate. The U.S. official speaking on condition of anonymity told Reuters the Russian diplomats would be given 72 hours to leave the United States. Access to 2 compounds will be denied to all Russian officials as of noon Friday, the official added. So this is unprecedented, Roger. You were in the Nixon administration. You were in the Reagan administration. I mean, when we were on the edge of, nuclear war, this crap didn't go on. This is unprecedented.
The obviousness of it is what's so astounding. It is so blatant. I mean, this is reminds me of Joe Biden chortling about the cyber war that we're going to use to provoke the Russians. They are so
Doesn't
desperate.
Trump need to tell them stop it right now? I mean, we need to start. I mean, this is an act of war right here. This is what, I mean, you shut down embassies once war starts.
The problem, of course, is that the administration wouldn't listen.
Roger, I mean, look, they would only invoke and claim the Russians had taken over through Trump if they were planning to engage COG and have martial law and war. I said that 3 weeks ago. It got picked up internationally. I mean, I've studied COG. We're going to skip this break, guys. I'm going to have to skip all of them here. We're about to have a nuclear war. This, in my knowledge, Roger, let's get on this right now and get Watson on it, too. I don't believe they've ever done something like this where they close diplomatic compounds that are already established without having a congressional law that just changes where they can have them. And that's not been done even during the Cold War. Roger, this is unprecedented. These actions were taken to respond to Russian harassment of American diplomats. See, no proof. Now it's not hacking. Now it's harassment.
Who exactly are these diplomats, and why was not reported at the time?
And the actions by diplomats that have been assessed to be not consistent with diplomatic practice, the officials told Russia. I mean, this is just the beginning. They're saying they're going to launch a cyber war on Russia. I guess turn their lights off, maybe turn a nuclear power plant off, and then when they have another Chernobyl, what, just have a frickin' nuclear war here, Roger?
Anything is possible under this administration. And the hysteria they are experienced because they see Donald Trump assembling the New World Order.
Well, I said last night, I watched CNN, and they had the look of people around a death watch where they went, something big's about to happen, war, and it's Trump's fault. And they went, it's his fault, knowing it's all them doing it. And then they just went, so be it. And I was like watching what I saw before 9/11 on CNN again. And they said something big's going to happen. Big towers are going to come down. Our life will never be the same. We're going to change the way we have freedoms. There's going to be a big war. And it was the Hart-Rubin Commission, Gary Hart and Warren Redmond on, no, it was CNBC. It was Hardball. And they were telling that 9/11 was coming and the world would never be the same on July 24th. And I came out and said they're going to blow up the World Trade Center, blaming on bin Laden. I'm seeing the same weird criminal energy now on the TV channels as they prepare for something big, Roger. And Roger, you know I don't just say stuff. I mean, everything's aligning. I think they're going to try a coup. Again, I was on television saying that bin Laden's a CIA asset and looks like he'll attack New York. Saying, call Washington, tell them to call off the attack. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so glad that you could join us today
for this Wednesday, July 25th, 2001 broadcast. Tyranny is enveloping the globe, and the United States is a shining jewel the globalists want to bring down, and they will use terrorism as the pretext to get it done. So that's coming up in the second half of the show. Very important information. I'm going to put the call out that you call the White House and tell them, look, we've seen the news stories that you've wanted to blow things up, that you have blown things up, and that you're saying that 4 million of us are going to die and we need martial law and the Associated Press at one of your little drills you had, and that we're aware of who the terrorists are if you pull this. This can stop this Hitlerian Reichstag event. I want to put the toll-free number up for Congress. And I won't want you to believe Alex Jones. I want you to go get these news stories off my website. I want you to call these major newspapers. I want you to find out these statements were true by the White House about preparing for martial law. And I want you to let them know that if there is any terrorism, we know who to blame. The point is, if any terrorism comes, it's from this government. And if there was an outside threat like a bin Laden, who was a known CIA asset in the 80s, running the Mujahideen war, and whose family builds all the military bases over in Saudi Arabia right now, and sits on the board of Iridium Satellite, he's the boogeyman they need in this Orwellian phony system. I want the White House numbers up there now. A big part of this solution, after you research all the government terrorism and check out what I'm saying is true, call the White House and tell them, we know the government's planning terrorism. We know Oklahoma City and World Trade Center was terrorism. We know the Joint Chiefs of Staff wanted to blow up airliners, Baltimore Sun. If you do it, we're going to blame you because we know who's up to it. Or if you let some terrorist group do it, like the World Trade Center, we know who to blame. And you could save the planet. I'm calling it Operation Expose the Government Terror.